To our live stream of Monday, the 20th of August, 2023. And I'm Bearheart, and I see that I haven't changed my name, and I'm going to do that real quick here.
Did you just say August?
I believe I said March, but you know, I could have said
I heard August too.
Oh, it's one of those days. It is a Monday.
Definitely one of those days. It is definitely. So I'm going to do that all over again. Welcome, everybody, to our live stream of Monday, the 20th of December. I don't know, March 2023. I'm Bearheart, or Bill Weinman, or Spartacus. We have Kirsten here, and Rickety is finally back with us in the kitty, in the fur.
In the fur.
Meow.
Yeah, there we go. So there's a couple of things I want to talk about today, but mostly I really want to talk about Microsoft is incorporating their AI chat bot GPT OpenAI thing into their Microsoft Office products. And it's totally understandable why they're doing this, because there is right now a race to get AI to the market, whether or not it's ready for that and whether or not it's even a good idea. And it's interesting that just last week, a week or so before announcing this, less than a week before announcing this, Microsoft laid off their AI ethics team, who was responsible for making responsible AI tools.
Great move.
Yeah, so that should tell us something about, how and why they're expanding this initiative so quickly. Because, and this is Microsoft's attitude from as long as I have known of them, which is like since the very beginning. They have this need to be first to market, whether or not that means they're releasing a quality that's good or useful or harmful. And this has always been their MO. I remember back in 1984 when Apple surprised the world by introducing the Macintosh with the their famous Super Bowl commercial, their famous 1984 commercial. And Microsoft immediately the next day announced that they had this Windows, that they were going to release this new operating system called Windows, which they had only just begun talking about. And it was like another 18 months before.
It's like the space race.
Yeah.
But with AI technology.
The interesting thing about Microsoft Windows, and they're announcing it at that point, is that is what gave rise to the term vaporware, which has since become a thing where somebody announces something and it never happens.
Ah, okay. Now the vapor part makes sense.
All right. I want to show an image here. This is a photograph. It's called a production still. It's a photograph that was taken during the production of a movie. The movie was The Shining, and you see there, I don't know if my mouse shows up. Does my mouse show up? Yeah, so this here is Stanley Kubrick, and this is his daughter Vivienne. She was filming a making of documentary about the making of the movie The Shining. And this guy here, who's totally out of focus, but in the foreground is
exactly who that is, though.
Do we? That's Jack.
Yeah.
He's hard to miss.
Here's Johnny.
The cinematographers and people over here. So this is, to me, a super fascinating photograph. And we'll get to why I'm wrong about this in a moment. But who would you say is the subject of the photograph?
Me personally,
Yeah, sure.
I'm just gonna go with Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson is out of focus.
Yeah, but you still know who
I
it
think
is.
the focus of it is the camera to go 5D galaxy brain.
So this is what makes this photograph brilliant to me. In my view, the subject of the photograph is Vivian, his daughter. And she's the only person in the photograph who's in focus. Even Stanley himself is out of focus. And it's a picture of them taking a picture of Jack Nicholson. And it's just so beautiful. You can see in this how much he loves his daughter and how much she loves her daddy, right? It's all just very, it's kind of intimate. And Jack Nicholson is sitting there being Jack Nicholson, presuming, all posed and presuming that he is the subject of the picture when he's not. There's a story here.
I didn't know this was going to be a therapy session. That sounds a lot like me.
What I want to get at with this is as good as AI will become ever, it will never be able to produce something as interesting as this. Because say what you will about who is where in the picture draws your attention and it makes you think. AI cannot, and I don't think it ever will be able to do that. If it can, it'll be like very, very far in the future.
Well, I know like there's that filter on TikTok, and a couple of other social media platforms where it uses AI. You take like a picture of yourself and it'll turn you into like an elf princess or like a beautiful alien or a warrior or, different stuff like that.
It could, if you told AI to create a picture that had those elements in it, you could probably accomplish that. But to think of it and to decide, hey, I'm going to take a picture of my daughter, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to trick Jack Nicholson into him thinking that I'm taking a picture of him. Because, there was a mirror there. We were looking at the mirror and the camera, Jack Nicholson is just assuming that the camera is pointed at him, and it is pointed at him, right? But the focus draws your attention another way. You could tell an AI to do that. I mean, he told his camera to do that, which is just a mechanical device. But to actually come up with the idea and, and to compose something as interesting as that, I don't see that happening. I don't see AI doing that. And to me, that's important, this discussion, because we're talking about these AI tools becoming more, everybody's going to push them out to market and they're going to become everywhere very quickly. And we're going to become tired of them very quickly. I think it was you, Kirsten, earlier today, who told me that this idea of Microsoft putting the AI into their Office products reminded you of Clippy.
Yes, that was my boy. Or actually, I don't know if it was a boy. I don't want to misgender the paperclip.
You don't want to misgender a paperclip.
But right? I did assume that it was a boy, so he was my boy.
Because
somebody feel free to correct me if I am incorrect.
It's obviously a male paperclip because he mansplained everything.
But kind of going back to the art thing, how you're like, oh, humans and you can't get technology to do that. Did you ever hear about that artist that got a huge like a museum invested all of this money into their art and gave them money up front, and the artist sent the museum blank canvases and titled it "Take the Money and Run"?
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
So like, I feel like that's like some shady stuff that like AI would do. Brilliant, yes.
I'm not saying that humans are flawless or that all humans are capable of creating great art or any of that. But that story reminds me of Banksy. You know who Banksy is?
I want to say yes, but I feel like I'm
Banksy
going to get
is a
schooled
graffiti
regardless.
artist, a British graffiti artist who remains anonymous to this day. Although there may be some people who know, I'm sure there are some people who know who he is. But
Yeah, the girl with the balloons, the one that shredded it as it came down when it sold, that was him.
yeah, that was, see, that's what I'm talking about. He provided this piece of art to a gallery, or no, it was to Sotheby's or somebody who auctioned it off. And the minute the gavel hit, Banksy hit the button, and the art shredded itself. There, it was in a frame that had a shredder built in. and I just thought that was hilarious. So I mean, but again, no AI is ever going to think of doing that. And I think it was brilliant. And the people who bought the painting kept it. They said, "Oh, this makes it even more valuable." So,
I
you know,
appreciate art. I lived a very large portion of my life in the art world, different medium, but art nonetheless. And I appreciate the people that appreciate it. I have a hard time. I'm a very what's the word I'm looking for? More straightforward. I don't see the abstract in a lot of things, which is why AI would probably be like, especially with all the Microsoft stuff. I am here for that as long as it's like good and worth.
let's talk about that. I have a few serious issues with it, besides the fact that, you know, it's never going to satisfy me that it's creative or actually intelligent.
This is my serious face.
I can imagine, you know, needing to write a letter and saying, okay, Clippy, I'm going to name it Clippy, by the way. Okay, Clippy, write this letter. It's to this person. It's on this subject, and I just need to get this out. So just write it, and letting it write the letter, and then me looking through the letter and editing it. I can see myself doing that, and I think for many people that'll be incredibly useful, and for many purposes, perhaps for some business purposes and such. I know that there are people today who are having ChatGPT write novels for them, and they're selling them on Amazon. I know that that is also happening. And I'm tempted to really just grab one of those novels and read it just to see how bad it is. Go ahead, Kirsten.
So snowballing off of that, being a struggling college student at one point in my lifetime, the fact that it's like the review or the article that you sent us that I read over, it said that you could give it like a really light prompt and it could write emails and like whole papers for you. How is that not some form of like plagiarism because they're not your words?
That's what I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. So there's a few problems with this. One is, where does the training data come from? So all this AI, it's generative AI, it needs to be trained on a body of work. And so far, they've been training these AIs by just scraping everything they can off of the internet. I mean, you know, Microsoft owns Bing, Google owns Google, right? And they already have all this data in their servers, and they just throw all this at the AI and train it with other people's work, other people's creative work. Do these other people get credit? Do they get attribution? What about their copyright? Is this just going to become the source of a massive lawsuit? I'm rooting for lawsuit.
Well, I know Chat GPT, from the few things that I went through and looked, it did a pretty good job of giving credit where credit was due.
Well, a lot of people disagree. A lot of people say no. A lot of these words I'm seeing in the output of this and that and the other, you know, were scraped off of something that I wrote for Wikipedia, or were scraped off of something that I wrote on my blog, and they're like exactly my words. And so there's this there's this friend of mine on Facebook who is, I think she's a French novelist, and she's constantly, every time I bring up the subject of AI, you know, she's always commenting on it. Oh, you know, all this AI does is just copy and paste, which is not far from the truth. I mean, I don't think it's literally that, but I think it's very, very close to that, close enough to that it could be problematic in terms of copyright and attribution and ownership and that. One of the other major problems that I see from this is that a lot of people are looking over the results from ChatGPT and saying, well, there's a lot of cultural, racial, gender bias in the output, which comes from the fact that the body of work that it's trained on is just random stuff off the internet. And if you look at random stuff on the internet, a lot of it is racially biased, a lot of it is gender biased, and a lot of it is, you know, just downright offensive. They do make some effort to filter out the really offensive stuff. I am absolutely convinced that some right-wing technology company is going to come out with a GPT that has all of those safeguards removed because they're convinced that those safeguards are woke or something. So I look at this and I see, okay, I can see where this could be useful. And I can also see where this could be a real rat's nest of problems. Yes.
I'm still finding my words.
I know. Well, you could ask ChatGPT to come up with some words for you.
Okay, so funny story about that. I wanted to get on there and experiment myself, and there's some kind of like waiting list.
Yeah.
Even that would have been nice to know, because then I felt like a loser because I was the only one that had chat GPT.
If you had texted me, I would have given you my login.
It was off. We were off duty. What are we, cops? I
am never off duty. So
I got you to say duty on the internet.
Nice.
Nerd.
I would be so boring without these two.
I disagree with that. I feel like you entertain yourself a lot.
Well, yeah, but nobody else would get it.
That's how me and Ricky are.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. Duty jokes are pretty accessible, I think, to most people.
They're classic for a reason.
So the Beavis and Butthead audience is large.
Oh, I thought you were calling me and Ricky Beavis and Butthead.
No. You guys are
That's
correct.
not too far off the truth.
That's what I'm saying.
So how are we doing? Do we have any comments? Is anybody listening?
No.
No, we
No
don't have
comments.
we don't even have anybody watching us
We
online.
have 2 people on Twitch. And I don't know why. Maybe LinkedIn is glitching, but I don't think we have anybody on LinkedIn.
What about YouTube?
No.
Well, that's just really, really disappointing.
I didn't know where you were going with that
I
sentence.
agree.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think Ricky's blatant. You were like, so is there anybody watching? Any comments? She was like, no.
I was addressing any comments.
A full sentence. No is a full sentence. That's what I'm learning in therapy right now.
So hang on a second here. What is this? If I go over here to my dashboard.
Yeah, on LinkedIn, it just says live. I can't tell.
So yeah, on YouTube, I'm getting the same thing. It's like, it's not giving me anything. So, you know, we may be just running into an internet problem here. Internet's been weird today.
Well,
oh, there we are.
And
Okay,
this
so
morning,
I've got my morning live stream. And does it show that? Oh, it says we're live now. Yeah, okay. Copilot, Whackadoodle, and Bear. Oh my! I love the way you guys title stuff.
That one was all Kirsten.
Well, that's a Kirsten Hopscotch. She renamed herself Kirsten Hopscotch.
So I want to say, what was the last live stream we all did together? Wasn't Monday, last Monday, it was a week ago, because I was here on Wednesday, Ricky was there on Friday.
Yeah.
After we got off, Ricky was sending me H name after H name after H name after H name, and I compiled them all into a document. Every time I log on, I forgot to do it before we went live, but now every time I go on, I have this list that Ricky sent me.
Mine today too.
Oh my goodness. Hold on. We have a lurker.
Ooh la la.
We have a lurker.
Hi, I'm
Yes.
looking in the
So
background.
that's so funny. I don't know if this is gonna pop up on the stream, but I hope it does to test. We have a comment now from Skylord Sprinkles.
Oh,
It says, "Hi."
we've had this person before, Skylar. I
Yes,
remember.
we've had him before.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm lurking in the background. Just have the
Ah,
pod in background while I work on some stuff. Valid.
that's it.
Thank
That's
you.
great. Your Highness, what do you do? What are you working on?
Dude,
Oh
and
yeah,
I
we
love-
have to address him as Your Highness.
Yeah, that's that. You know, if somebody's going to name themselves Skylar, I'm not gonna risk calling them anything else. You know.
And I love the Twitch people, because from what I understand, Twitch is more so a like a gaming.
Yeah.
So the people that have found these live streams through Twitch, they're very loyal, because you got Porcupine Butler that's popped in quite a few times, and like it's like an ongoing conversation. And then we've got Skylord Sprinkles. Like it's just.
And His Highness says that he is just doing some onboarding paperwork for a new job. Congrats on that new job.
Congrats on
Yay!
your gig, dude. Yeah, I mean, I say dude because I'm from California.
They're him from our last conversation. So it's cool to dude them, I think. Or they rather.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I'm from California, and everything is not just everybody, but everything is dude. It's like, you know, you drop a box on your foot and you're like, dude. It's like,
I did hear a really funny joke the other day. Somebody was like, you know, like just like you said, when you drop a box on your foot or when something goes wrong, you're like, dude, or like, oh man, you know, that stinks. But then when like something good happens, everybody's always like, yes, girl, yes, girl. And I was like, they said that.
Clean.
that's great. So the other thing that I wanted to mention, I don't know, I feel like sometimes I get into too much politics stuff on our live streams, because I think about politics a lot, and you know, I think about the world and you know, what kind of world we're leaving for our kids. I think about that. But there's this this lawsuit going on. Dominion Voting Machines is suing Fox News and I presume like a few other people and organizations for slandering their name and blaming them for, you know, this imagined fraud in the election, which has cost them a lot of business, because a lot of municipalities and areas don't want to use their voting machines again, not because anybody really believes that that they threw the election, but because they know that the name Dominion Voting Machines is a pariah in their neighborhoods and in their areas. They're areas that are more conservative. And so the company behind Dominion Voting Machines is suing Fox News. And through this lawsuit, we've been learning all kinds of interesting stuff about Fox News, because they have to say things in the public record under oath. And so we've learned that none of them actually believed any of the things that they were saying. They didn't believe that the election was stolen. They didn't believe that there was any voter fraud. They didn't even like Donald Trump. But on the air, they were saying all this stuff as if they believed in it, as if it was very true. So on Thursday, this email became available. And what this email is, people call it the Whackadoodle email, because it actually refers to itself. At the end, it says, you may think this is Whackadoodle, right? And so people have referred to it as the Whackadoodle email. And you can find it if you Google site : WashingtonPost.com space Whackadoodle, WHACKA doodle. Right. Go ahead.
What the link that you sent us to it said like exhibit 2.
Right.
Is that from the case?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's the exhibit number in the lawsuit. Right.
Okay.
And so I'm not going to read it on. I had thought about reading parts of it because it's actually very, very entertaining, and it is completely nuts. It is completely off the rails. But what's interesting about this, I mean, besides the fact that the content is so completely Looney Tunes that nobody could possibly believe what's in it. The email was sent on a certain date, and I forget exactly what date it was, and it was sent to Sidney Powell and a few people at Fox News, and it was from somebody who identified themselves with all kinds of crazy superlative grandeur, delusions of grandeur type stuff. I did this, I did that, and I, went to the moon, and I traveled through time, and I mean, it's clearly somebody who needs help. And the very next day, Sidney Powell was on Fox News, and I forget exactly which program she was on Fox, but let me see if I can find this here. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna find the name here. Yeah, she was on one of the prominent Fox News shows, and saying, I have really good sources. I have really good evidence that this is what's going on, that the Dominion voting machines have been, we're programmed to take 3% of Donald Trump's votes and just give them to Joe Biden. And that was exactly what was in the email, in the Whackadoodle email. And so what we're learning is that this whole voter fraud, voting machine fraud thing came from this crazy person email. And that nobody at Fox ever vetted it. Nobody at Fox ever tried to find out if it was actually true. They just took the word of this Sidney Powell person, who was a prominent lawyer and one of Donald Trump's lawyers, and they just took her word for it. And they didn't bother to try to vet it in any way. And they call themselves a news organization, and they call their programs news. And millions and millions of people, they have the largest audience of any cable news network in the country, and they have had for a long, long time. You drive anywhere through, any of the rural parts of the country or anywhere in the South, and you will see, you stop in a diner or you stop in a gas station, whatever, they got Fox News on the TV. I mean, literally gigantic swaths of our country are constantly being bombarded with the the opinions of Fox News and with these particular conspiracy theories, which are completely unfounded and are based upon the rantings of somebody who thinks they're a time traveler. To me, this is just completely nuts.
Just to play devil's advocate, they
Yeah.
didn't necessarily say time traveler. They referenced that as a way to describe it.
Okay. Please explain the distinction.
To try and to just get people to understand where they were coming from. We've all been there, man. We've all felt a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and you have to put it in terms of like you're explaining it to a 2-year-old.
Okay. You really want me to read some of this stuff, don't you?
No. We're not gonna read it. We can post it. You can let.
Yeah, we should post it and have people go up and find it through our links.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, this is beyond. I had a dream last night. This is beyond. I was just, I'm feeling a little alienated today. Ooh, I said alien.
Somebody come get him and take him to Area 51.
Which is not far from where I live.
I know. You better lock up. They're coming for you.
This is why our baseball team used to be called the 51s. And the baseball team in Las Vegas used to be called the 51s. And their mascot was an alien named Cosmo.
I know. I was trying to be funny because.
Hey guys, I'm so sorry. It's 6:30. I have to dip, but I will see you guys on the next one.
Well, I think we're just about done anyway. And yeah, we can just call it here.
Oh, I feel so bad. You don't have to call on my behalf.
No. I think we've all right. So Rickity's gonna sign off. We love you. We will see you tomorrow morning.
Thanks. Bye guys. Love y'all.
Love you. Bye. I guess everybody signed off.